Hello everyone and thank you for tuning in. In today's video we're gonna be making a 5 Nights at Freddy's Security Breach tier list with my own opinions regarding the characters, the parts they were in, their mechanics, and my thoughts. Without further delay, let's do it. Let's get one thing out of the way. Look at me. Look at me right now in my eyes. You are allowed to hate Gregory and Monty. This is okay. It's an opinion. But if you hate Monty just because he quote unquote killed Bonnie, or you hate Gregory just because he, a scared child, decommissioned animatronics that he knew nothing about other than they wanted to kill him, I will find you. I will come to your house and find you. And I will steal all your batteries and your TV remote. I hope both sides of your pillow are cold. I hope the shower is too hot but every time you try to adjust it it's too cold now. Rot. Here is the S tier, which in order has Monty, Gregory, the Endos, Glamrock Mr. Hippo, Glamrock Freddy, Roxanne, Withered Chica, Mini Music Man, and the Wet Floor Bots, who I will be calling Pat Pat because of Dorko. Monty is in S tier because I think his design fits very well with the game, and also because his fight was the most interesting. It felt like an actual boss fight compared to the others, and I think he's a fun character that can be interpreted in many different ways. Gregory is in S because he's also a very interesting character, and he's a very good start to new protagonists when canonically most of the time you're playing as Michael or members of his family. There are many theories on who he is, and while I don't agree with most, they are interesting to think about and it shows how much we have to work with for him. His dialogue can be funny or relatable bits that improve the scenes, and while most find him annoying, I really enjoyed playing as him, and I hope in the future we get to see Gregory again apart from DLC of Security Breach. The endoskeletons are in S as I feel like the main section with them was a good combination of hard and scary. Their jump scare is really startling the first few times, and I really enjoy Weeping Angel mechanics. They remind me of Fangame the Joy of Creation, which I'm pretty positive they drew inspiration from for them. Mr. Hippo being S is a bit of a bias as he is genuinely my favorite FNAF character, but I also think it was a nice funny touch to a very heartwarming ending to add him at the end. Freddy was put in S tier as I think the game genuinely wouldn't be the same without him. It's so nice to finally have a FNAF game where the character the series is named after has the biggest part, and his personality and lines made it all the more enjoyable. It's the first game, not including Pizzeria Simulator with Helpy, that an animatronic is actively helping us, and I think the concept only works so well with Freddy to fill the role. Roxy is in S because I think besides Freddy, her character is the most interesting. On the surface she seems very self-centered, but the parts like when she was crying and bits where she mentions nobody likes a loser shows how she's more self-conscious than anything. And it's interesting to see an animatronic with that much personality. Also, I'm a lesbian. I'll talk about Withered Roxy and Chica at the same time because I put them both in S for the same reasons. I think they are two of the eeriest and creepiest designs in the entire game, and the segments right after you decommission them, in the sewers and in the boiler, are really cool because of how scary they come off as. Plus Chica's glitchy static sounds she makes, and Roxy pouncing blindly really add to the fear factor. Mini Music Man is in S because it's what scared me the most honestly. Its creepy broken down design with its soulless eyes and the way it bites down upon first seeing you is so startling and cool. And the feeling of dread just from the music it plays alone when you're in the vents before it starts chasing you is always fun in a horror game way. Plus I think its jump scare is better than all the glam rocks really. Do you really need a reason? For A tier in order we have Sun, Bonnie, Circus Baby Bot, Nightmare Bots, and Map Bot. I'll try and get through these guys quicker so the video isn't too long. Sun goes into A because since he wasn't advertised or shown to even be in the game much till the last minute, there wasn't expectations for him. He serves his purpose well, but I just wish he had a more prominent role. Lots of bits of his personality are fandom headcanons that leads to a lot of misinterpretation of him. Bonnie is put in A since while there's a lot of mystery around him and what happened to him which makes the idea of him interesting, he's not really more than that. I think I'd move him to S if there was a little more to him than collectible messages and the head in the amalgamation pile. Hoping a DLC can build off this. Circus Baby Bot is in A just since I think it's a nice little Easter egg that it's in the ice cream parlor. Nothing more than that, and it doesn't need to be too. Another simple reason for the nightmare bots being in A, they give the areas they are in a good creepy atmosphere and their jump scares a nice surprise. I just wish they were used in more areas or the jump scare was easier to get. I also wish we knew what the in your dreams thing meant. Just a funny man who is unironically scarier than half the characters in this game. Solid A. In B tier I only have 3 characters. Glamrock, Helpy, Moon, and
Music Man!
Helpy is in B just because I feel like he could have been used more. It would have been cute to see him as a toy or plush sitting in security offices, or at least see the name mentioned. Moon being in B I do wanna go into a little detail on at least. He was hyped up so much in the fandom from how cool he seemed in the trailers and was shown off more than Sun, with the assumptions he would be hunting us in multiple places. The fact that he only did so in the daycare and isn't really a threat when the power is out in the whole plex is really disappointing. Moon had potential to be so cool and just feels underwhelming.
Music Man!
I genuinely wanted to put Music Man in S instead of B. I love him so much and he's so cool, but his part of the game felt too frustrating for me personally, that it took away the excitement and fun. Plus it's another scenario where I wish they used him more. His whole area is so amazing and fun to explore, but you really can't do that with the whole time you're there. You're being chased or in a panicked rush. It ends so abruptly too, and the bouncer mode plot point wasn't obvious or evident enough that so many people missed it. C tier is next. In order we have Glamrock, Chica, Withered Monty, Vanessa, Vanny, and the staff bots. Makes me genuinely sad how they did Chica in this game, so I have to put her at C. She has the least amount of personality evident in this game besides eating trash and the brief beginning scene that shows she cares about Freddy. Putting her as the first main character you deal with for a large chunk of the game didn't help, as it made me and many others associate her with frustration and annoyance. And I think the reason most of the YouTubers I watched chose to decommission Chica is just because of that. Monty's withered design is cool, but besides that, that's about it. Compared to after decommissioning Chica, you don't really see him that much after, and you don't even get a little segment like with her and Roxanne. Sadly, C. Oh boy. Starting with why Vanessa is in C tier. Her character in the trailer seemed so much more complex and exciting than what we got. Not to mention she's the first main character of a FNAF game that's a girl and isn't an animatronic. We could have had something interesting. Instead we got her. Completely different than the trailers. Sassy and rude and annoyed with everything and hardly evident at all. It's so disappointing. She's only not in D because of what we could have had. That I know was the original plan. Also her freckles. They took away her freckles. Where do I even start with why Vanny is in C tier? She disappoints me the most. She could have been so cool. Help Wanted was laying down the groundworks for Security Breach to really be the start of the next chapter for FNAF in its story. Vanny could have been amazing. A new killer, a new villain, all with her own story and ideas that would have just happened to stem from what happens in Help Wanted. She was so hyped up in the trailers. quickly became my absolute favorite character in the series. I was so excited for what she would do. Instead, she can't even be called the main villain. She's nothing but a minor inconvenience in the game, and her lore is messy. 2 of the endings result in her permanent death or nothing important happening to her, and in the Afton one we don't even know what happened, if she escaped or died or whatever. I am desperately hoping DLC or future games can save her and give her the spotlight and story she deserves, but until then the only thing that's saving her from being at the bottom is a game. What could have been? They are so fucking annoying. Final tier, D tier, includes the Amalgamation, Burntrap, and the general staff bots. Amalgamation, Blob, Squidward, whatever you want to call it, is indeed just because it shouldn't exist, and I despise the fact that it does. Henry did not give a speech that still gives me chills to this day, about the animatronics dying and letting their souls rest, for this blob of them to exist and still be kicking. Henry is rolling in his grave right now. It's complicating the lore far more than it needs to be, and it just pisses me off at this point. Burntrap is indeed because William needs to die already. He should not be back again. This was such a great time for a new chapter in the story with a new villain, and Vanny, who was supposed to fill that role, is overshadowed by this bitch again. I'm sick of it. I wish he'd die and fully let the series take the next steps it needs. They are all incredibly annoying. God, I hate them. Anyways guys, that was my super cool and awesome amazing tier list. This took literally all day to edit. Please give it a pity like at the very least. Anyways, stay swag, drink water, and remember these are all just my own opinions, but I'd love to hear yours. Have an awesome day/night.